MeTV 24 Meridian proudly presents your favorite way to start the day. Welcome to Mornings with Scotty Ray and Candace. And good morning from Scotty Ray and Candace. Wednesday.
It is. It's Wednesday.
Hump day, camel, elves, all that great stuff. Now,
Yes.
First off, I want to start out by apologizing of the technical difficulties that we had yesterday. I think everything's worked out, and we should be back on path today. Everything says it's humming right along like it should be.
Yes, that's a good thing. It was freezing up and everything for the last couple of days. So
Should be fixed. So, yeah, you out spreading Christmas cheer? What you got going on?
I'm just here, and then I have to go to work later. I have a little doctor's appointment this morning, and just check.
So when do the hairdressers shut down for Christmas? When do they do this?
I'm going to work the morning of the 23rd, and that'll be my last day till after Christmas. So.
Just making sure you don't have to do anybody's hair for Christmas morning when pictures are being snapped.
No, I'm not. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, I'm going to be off. And I think I finished up everything yesterday evening as far as my shopping goes. So.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm done with.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yes.
Yesterday, pretty much a calm day in Meridian, Mississippi. It could have been a lot worse, but kind of mild. We did have a car chase through the streets of Meridian. Before you go, oh boy, car chase. This is one of those high-speed pursuits where nobody could, nope, that's not what went on. As we pull up the map here, let's take a look at what went on yesterday. As we pull this up, this started on 65th Avenue. You go, well, where is that? Mm-hmm. If you're on Highway 19 and you were to take a left there by Lee's Donut, if you were going north and go down through there, that's where it all started. And it was a slow drive. We're talking top speeds of about 38 miles an hour.
Really?
Yeah. He was waving at everybody from witnesses on the stand. Actually, what he was doing was saying he was going to pull over, and he never did. Mm-hmm. But he did get a ride downtown afterwards, and felony charges, shouldn't have had a gun in the car, and might have had some illegal marijuana up in there, and several other things after he stopped. Mm-hmm. That might be why he didn't want to pull over for the illegal tent.
Yeah, that might be. Goodness.
But he wasn't breaking any more laws, though. He was just going to drive 40. So that went on yesterday. We did have a couple of accidents, but nothing major, just little fender benders here and there throughout the afternoon. And you safely got to and from work, no issues.
I did. Everything went fine. And then I got off a little bit early just so I could go finish up my stuff. And it wasn't, it's packed in town. Everybody's doing last minute shopping. But, everything went smooth, I will say. So.
I didn't get past SMI Automotive with Joe. I went down to see Joe, and I spent a little bit more time there than I should have, because it was just funny stories. Mm-hmm. It was 3 or 4 people that happened to be there. You know how somebody starts reminiscing, and they all had come from a little town, and I guess there really wasn't a whole lot of people to work for, and it was one guy that owned a farm that they all worked for. And they were telling stories of how he was an equal opportunity employer to everyone. He treated everybody bad. They said it was the meanest man they had ever met in their life. He would pay you good, but he would tell you when you showed up, I'm going to work the letters off the front of your shirt. And they said he did. But
he meant business.
It was kind of funny. Yeah, I guess you'd had to have been there to share that story. Christmas is close. I have not seen the Christmas Santa Claus in the last couple of days of flying around the airplane in town. You seen it anymore?
I have not. Well, we did see it from a distance landing at the airport the other night. It was kind of neat because, it was just kind of we were coming from Eaton and out at Enterprise.
You're right.
And I just looked over to the left and saw Christmas lights going down the runway. So it was really neat, but we didn't really have a chance to.
Sunday night was the last reporting that I've had of it. So if y'all are up and see something tonight, let us know so we can share that. Everybody can crack their front door and take a sneak peek at what's out there. Now, we're going to have warmer weather today. Let's remember that. Today we're expecting sunshine and 60.
Yes.
What nice weather for that is. 32 this morning, and we had tons and tons of frost outside, so you had to warm up your car to go anywhere.
Yes.
Unless you were smart enough to park under the carport or put something over your windshield.
Yeah.
I was never that guy.
My husband warmed my car up, and then I was thinking, oh, goodness, all the chocolate and stocking
Wait a minute. He warms your car up?
Yeah.
See, you would only hear that from somebody that's been married for less than a year. Ain't no other married man out there been married 20 years
Look,
going out. She can
Scotty
go warm
Ray,
up his truck.
He warms my car up. He goes and like gets my coffee fresh in my cup before I leave.
What do they call that?
No.
She jank it on that chain.
A good man.
Jank it
That's
that
what you call that. It's a good man.
Oh, I cannot wait to get to the deer camp. Tell everybody he warms your car up.
Good. And you might pass the word on. Maybe it'll rub off on y'all.
Yeah, them guys that I know.
How much shopping? Have you finished your shopping?
I ain't started. Like I said, I went to see Joe yesterday, and that's as far as I got.
Okay.
SMI Automotive, old Joe down there. It was worth the wait. I'll get something somewhere. John says, bossy. There you go. Got that.
I'm not bossy.
Oh, yeah, you are.
No, I'm not.
And Denise trying to.
I do have a good husband. I do. I will say that.
There's a
He's nice.
word that I won't use for it on here that after we go off air, I'm going to whisper in her ear so she'll know what it's called.
Okay. Goodness.
Warming up a car. Let me, our special guest in the studio, let's just see when the last time he warmed his wife's car up. Dr. Mason, how in the world are you?
Doing great. How you doing, Scotty Ray?
When was the last time that you warmed your wife's car up for?
Can't remember.
See?
After 25 years, I've never done that, but she does get to park in the garage. So.
See?
So, well, we don't have a garage.
That ain't got
Saturday.
nothing to do with the price of eggs.
Well, you know, it's give and take, Scotty Ray.
What does he get?
I don't know.
See? That's what I had.
Look, I'm good to him too. So
It's all about that first year and a half. Pretty soon, she's going to have to text him to find him because he's going to be hiding down in his shop going, I don't want to go back up there. Oh, gosh. Supper's almost ready.
Oh, hush. Goodness.
That's all a part of it. But for those who don't know Dr. Mason, how long have you been in business here in Meridian, Doc?
I've been here 22 years.
That's been a spell. And you were with Dr. Mariscalco for umpteen dozen. He's retired now.
He retired about a year ago after 35 years in practice.
And I got to ask this because I went to see you because it's here lately. It got to where I can't see these huge screens that are over here anymore. And I come to visit you, and he tells me I got to have surgery now.
Sure, the cataracts are sneaking up on you, and we see them in a lot of younger people now, so not just the older folks.
Yeah, I think I need to come get an appointment. I hadn't had my eyes checked in a little while, so.
Do you consider me? Let's go ahead and define this. Am I that younger or that older person you're talking about, or do we just want to leave that as a blanket?
Well, since you're younger than I am, you're young. So I'm 57, so you're young because you're younger than I am. But we do see them quite a bit in 40, 50, 60-year-olds, not just the 70 and 80-year-old group.
But, a lot of people really don't know what that term means. Put it in just common knowledge of what cataracts are, what it affects you. If you're right now watching this or you're watching from your phone and you go, well, how do I know if I have them? What are symptoms that you might need to have this done?
Most patients notice difficulty seeing at night, difficulty with glare, seeing in the rain, can't see the road signs as early as the others in the car.
Yeah.
Your wife or significant other
Looks
scared
better
to death to ride with you is a good sign that you can't see. So,
But
I might need to come get mine checked then because all of those things. I had LASIK surgery years back.
Yeah.
And I knew that around 40 or so, I probably need reading glasses. Well, that hit about 45. And then now I'm starting to have issues being able to see, again, like distance-wise. So
My next question is, how many divorces have you caused after the surgery?
He is crazy.
well, it's funny. You get a lot of comments out of folks after cataract surgery, and my favorite one is a man told me one time, everything looks better but me. And so, we can refer you to the plastic surgeons and help finish that. But
Yeah, and I truly understand this statement because it's kind of like blurry up here in front of me right now. I can see everything. It just ain't real clear. It's like having your scope, and you can't get that little adjustment there to where it's clear on those crosshairs, and that's the way everything is.
that's why Scotty Ray misspells stuff all the time.
Oh,
'cause he can't see it.
That's truthful. It'll look right. And then you stare back at it an hour later, and you go, oh.
So when you get your eyes fixed, there's no excuse.
No
Scotty Ray.
excuses.
Everything's going to be perfect.
Now, another thing that everyone knows you for, and this is why we've got you here this morning, is, Christmas time. And you really love Christmas.
We do. We love decorating inside and out. So I always grew up liking Christmas lights, but we used to just do icicles or do a wreath on the door and put a spotlight. But we always wanted to do something more. So we used to live on 11th Avenue, and there was a guy across the street from me, David Stevenson, who does a great display. Used to have a Santa on the roof, and it kind of became a little friendly competition of
Kind of like the Griswolds fight.
That's right. So, and the Stevensons still do an awesome. They also do a great job decorating their house. But I wanted to just do something different from David. So I'd always seen lights on YouTube that went to music. So we decided to go down that route.
So tell us where you're located, when people can come see all this, and you know, when you name a street, tell me a big old landmark that I go, oh, that's where you're at.
It's 2211 39th Street. If you're coming from downtown and go past Meridian High, go about 3 or 4 blocks, and 39th Street is on the right.
Okay.
We're the second house on the right. There's a little triangle, kind of a triangular median in front of the house, which is nice because you can park around the median and watch the lights.
Isn't there like a rock entrance or something like that right there?
It's like an old Northwood rusted gate right there, and it's a divided road, so that's kind of a nice thing to look for. We always remind folks, please don't park directly in front of the house. Park around the triangle, and then 10 or 12 cars can park and see.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sometimes people park right in front, and then it blocks the view, and then horns honk and words get said. It's better to park around.
Right.
Anyway, we start at 5:30 and go till 10. So there's a couple of speakers in the flower bed, so you can get out and stand in front and watch, or you can tune your radio to 107.5 if it's cold or raining.
Right.
And hear it in the car.
Well, that's pretty easy then. Just pull up and do that. Now, how many days a week do you do it? Is it every day or just some days?
It's every day. We start usually the Sunday after Thanksgiving. This year it took me until the Thursday after Thanksgiving to get everything, all the kinks worked out. Just as with any technology, there's always something that doesn't work and something that needs to be replaced. With the supply chain the way it is, there's a couple of things I need to replace, but you just can't get them. But it takes a good 3 days to put everything up, and we enjoy doing it. We enjoy seeing people enjoy it.
Now, rumor was that you started this because your wife wanted you to work in the flower bed, and you thought, well, if I go do this, she can't stop me. Is there any truth to that?
Well, not exactly. So we work in the flower beds usually Saturday mornings. We're both out there, but
right.
We just like doing the decorations, just to do something different that you don't see.
Now, if you have not been out to see this, when is the cutoff time? And are there different hours for Christmas and all of this on Christmas Eve?
Well, it's 5:30 to 10 every day. We cut it off at 10 because it becomes
Those old neighbors, isn't it?
Right, irritating to the neighbors with all the traffic, and plus it's pretty loud out there so that everyone can hear it. So we just go 5:30 to 10. Typically, the busiest night. This will be the busiest week, especially Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And then usually by the 27th or 28th, there's no one coming by, so we turn it off and put it up.
About the 28th, it'll kind of wind down. Now,
Right.
How long does the cycle, when you pull up, how long is a complete cycle of it? What does the average person stay to watch it?
Early in the season, we put about, I'd say, 8 or 10 songs on. It lasts about 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. But the week before Christmas, I'll play most everything I have, and that's probably a 40-minute set.
So what's the coolest Christmas song that you think that it bounces to?
Well, we always lead off with Hot Chocolate. That's a favorite from Polar Express. Mm-hmm. And always put Let It Go in the middle from Frozen. Mm-hmm. That's popular with the younger ones. And We Wish You a Merry Christmas at the end. And then there's classics in there. There's Trans-Siberian Orchestra. A pretty good mix for anybody. So, and every year the technology improves. What we started with, there's really nothing left from where we started 13 years ago.
Have you got Feliz Navidad? Did I say that right?
I don't have that song. So but that is a great Christmas song.
Yeah.
I was just curious of what that would look like.
It would look neat. I don't have that song. There's just so many sequences that are available, and to make one takes a couple of months.
Really?
So the place where I buy my hardware, the folks there will churn out about 5 new sequences a year, and the last 2 years they've done none because of the pandemic.
That's right.
So we don't really have any new songs. We have some new lights and things, but nothing new.
I think it's such a great thing that y'all do this, because this is a good, time for family to come together and do something together and, ride around and look at the lights. And I've always loved to do that with my kids. Even when they were younger, we'd, get them bathed and in their pajamas, and then we'd go ride around and look at all the lights. But it is a treat. We've been by your place many times, and it's really nice. And it's really neat to see, to just sit there, especially when it's cold and you just want to sit in the car, where it's warm, and just listen to the music, to the lights. It's really neat. If you have not seen it, you'd need to go by, and it's a really treat.
Check them all out.
Thank you so much for doing that, because not everybody goes, that extra mile to do things for other people like that. So we appreciate
we enjoy
you.
doing it. So we enjoy it as much as the folks that ride by.
Yes.
Well, Doc, thank you for dropping in and visiting with us this morning. And tell everybody at work I said hello, and I'm really not looking forward to come visiting with y'all on whatever day we set this up.
All righty. Well, it's good to see both of y'all.
Yes.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Let's take a minute and talk about our friends at Maples One Stop Shop. They do a lot for you there, and boy, do they have a lot going on. They've just added a new location, 31st Avenue, Chevron. You can find them there at St. Paul Street. Also, they've just added the Causeyville store. Now, they're going to be changing things up a little bit and adding a full deli. So be ready. They're in the making of that. They don't know the exact date. Why? Because, well, you can't get parts on everything. But it's coming. So be ready for that. And, of course, they offer the lowest gas prices that absolutely can around town. North Hills location, or, well, let's see, they got the community coffee. We've got the caramel, the cold coffee stuff for you. Mocha, if you like all that. Broadmoor. Including the loyalty coffee program. So much to choose from there. See them today. Get that 6 cup of coffee absolutely free as we go down with cold drinks and Snicker bars and everything else that might be on your Christmas list, and a moon pie to make your day a little bit better. You don't eat potato chips with that, do you?
Moon pie?
With potato chips?
No.
Okay, I'm just making sure. All right. That's some of the things you can get there. Pizza is a great lunch for only $4.99. See them today. You can get a whole lot more, including all of your lottery tickets. Whatever you want, they've got it for you. Maples One Stop Shop with 6 locations now in the Meridian area. Drop in and see them today. Maples One Stop Shop. They'll help you out.
Every day, there are thousands of vehicles on the road that are company-owned fleet, truck, SUV, and vans. Every year, there are thousands of accidents that involve these company-owned vehicles. A company-owned vehicle accident is not just another accident. These accidents become a responsibility of not only the company driver, but also their employer.
Commercial vehicle accidents are difficult cases. I'm your Mississippi Attorney, Richard Schwartz. If you've been injured in an accident that involved a commercially owned vehicle, remember, one call, that's all.
Rock House Gun and Pawn is open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Lots of different calibers and brands to choose from when it comes to hunting rifles. Whether you're looking for a new pump shotgun or an AR, the Rock House will have the gun that you need, with a huge selection of ammunition for just about any caliber that you may be looking for. Pistols, scopes, and a whole lot more. Plus a private lobby for your confidentiality when it comes to your pawns. Rock House Gun and Pawn, located at 5430 Highway 19 North Meridian. And welcome back, Scotty Ray Candace. And this is Wednesday. It is so shocking that we're in the middle of the week, which makes Christmas Eve really one day away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You can, I guess, count that as 2, but depends on what calculator you're using.
Yes, it's getting very close, very fast. So
as we I've got another guest in here, and let's just ask him also. This seems to be the question of the morning. Ward Calhoun, we're going to go ahead and ask you. Do you warm your wife's car up?
No.
Yet another
what is
man
wrong with y'all?
that doesn't warm his wife's car.
I'm just picking.
Just don't. We never. She always went to school, and many times I was either gone a good bit before she left, but most times she was gone a long time before I ever got out the door, because I had. I tell everybody, my wife, while she's a retired teacher,
Right.
educator now, I used to have two wives. I had the teacher wife and I had the summer wife, and I really did like that summer wife.
Yeah, she's good to have around, wasn't she?
She's great. So
I'm going
6
to write
weeks.
down a name and give to you, and it's her husband's name, and he cranks up her car for her every morning. Ain't it just sweet?
Maybe if he wants to do that now, he can come by, but she doesn't leave anymore very often. So
Look, we don't have a garage, Scotty Ray. So I had ice or whatever you want to call it, thick frost on my windshield. So he does that to get that off. So I'm not.
that is very kind.
Yeah.
Does,
But I would do the same for him.
Do
if
you
I
ever
was
wake
leaving
up and your
for-
slippers are lined up by the edge of the bed or anything like that?
No. Look, he could give you some lessons, Scotty Ray. I don't want to hear it.
Apparently, I need some too. So,
We all do.
Well, he's going to hold a class.
MCC, they're always looking for instructors to do
Instructors.
things.
Look, yes.
So there you go.
Yes.
Well, you and I talked yesterday afternoon, and this is a serious thing in our community, and it costs people money, and we don't want it to happen anymore. And I'm gonna let you talk about this second, how serious this is.
Yeah, we get phone calls, not daily, but 3 or 4 times a week from people who will call and say, hey, I've received a phone call, some type of scam wanting to give us information. And, and I talk with people quite often about that and tell them we appreciate it, spread the word that, people are calling and scamming. I used to try to get, and have in the past, put out there in the media the exact type of scam, but there are so many variations that these people come up with. The one yesterday, though, however, kind of hits a little closer to home from the standpoint. Got a phone call about 9 yesterday morning. Gentleman telling us about how he'd received a call. It's the you didn't come to jury duty scam is what I call it. And it's where they will call and say, hey, you missed jury duty, and because of that, you've been fined by the judge. You owe this money. You've got to pay it immediately, or we're coming to pick you up and arrest you. And they start, and these particular ones, it appears they do a little bit of research about people.
Yeah.
And they are, mention things about picking you up at work. They're trying to embarrass, someone about, hey, you might get arrested over this. And they also are calling from a 601 number. We've seen that before where they're spoofing a number. It is not the sheriff's department number, but if you call that number back, you get a phone tree, I think they're called, where, press 1 for if you got calling about a warrant, press 2 kind of thing. And it's the announcement when you call, it says you've reached the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department.
Wow.
And so if you press, 1 for a warrant or whatever you press, at the office, we tried it multiple times. No one would ever answer. Then we started trying it on cell phones, and we would get an answer, but they'd hang up pretty quick. Once they, and I don't know if they were checking against the numbers they had been calling in some way. Don't know all the ins and outs of how they're doing it. I just know they're doing it. And what people need to know, and the stump I'm on this morning, as many people as I can tell, is asking citizens to spread the word. The Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department, no law enforcement agency that I'm aware of anywhere in our country is going to ever call you and tell you that you owe this fine and that you have to go get, in this case, a prepaid card, like a Green Dot card, and give us the number. That we're not going to do that. We use telephones a lot in our world today. We use them. We call people who have warrants, misdemeanor warrants. We've been doing it for years. It's a much more effective and efficient way of doing things than us burning gas and putting miles on cars trying to find people all the time on misdemeanor warrants. So we typically call and say, hey, you've got this. You need to contact the court. You need to get a court date set up. We find more than half the people we're able to find numbers for come and do that. It's much more efficient.
Now, what kind of money, when they call you, are they asking for? Are we talking like a $25 fine or a lot
no.
more?
Yesterday was more than $2,000 that they scammed this particular victim for, and that's the one we know about. There may be others that we're not even aware of. So I'm asking people today, please don't talk to these people on the phone. If someone calls you and says that they're from some law enforcement agency, you can always say, well, I will call you back. Don't call the number back that's showing up on your phone. Get your computer out, your phone book out, look up that phone number, call that agency there. They're using names of people in our organization. Of course, that's information that's easily obtained. It's in the public domain. It's on news sites. It's on our website. So they used Donna Jill Johnson's name yesterday, again, an elected official whose name is out there.
Right.
There's a lot of information out there, and they put those pieces together, and they are very convincing when they talk to these victims.
Now, the odds of them actually being set up here in Lauderdale County are slim to none, aren't they? Most likely in another city.
Most likely they're not. And a lot of times the accent will kind of give you a clue when you get the phone call, because we have a lot of them that we know are overseas. I don't know if this one is or not. They could be land based. We had this same scenario about 4 years ago. Same deal, where it had a callback number, had the announcement it was the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department, and they were up for weeks. I called everybody under the sun trying to figure out a way to figure out where they were, to do anything to get that shut down, and I got zero help. In today's world with technology, can we track people through IP addresses? And yes, but it takes. We wait on investigation sometimes months for records to come back. By the time you get that kind of information, they've already closed up shop and moved on.
And I think a lot of people, after watching television shows like CS Miami and everything, think that everything's just instantaneously like your caller ID would work, but it's not quite so simple, is it?
Nowhere close to that. We had an instance not long ago where we were 3 weeks in making an arrest on a murder, waiting on evidence, information like that, technological information, just to get it back. And it's so it is not like TV. I mean, TV's entertainment.
Right.
That's not the real world. And I wish it was as easy at times for us to access information like that, but it's not. So the best thing we can do, since we can't do a whole lot on the enforcement side of it, the thing to do is to make sure we do the prevention side of it. And that's where people never give out any kind of, your debit cards, your checking account, any kind of Social Security, anything like that, someone who calls you about anything. Because unless you've contacted them, make sure it's somebody you've called. And if there's ever any doubt, hang up, find the correct phone number, make sure, verify that information, and then call in. Because there are just hundreds of different scams that have been done through the years. You can't list them all. People can't certainly remember them all. I can. I don't think anybody else can. But there's one thing that's a constant. They create an urgent situation, and they tell you the way to solve this problem you have is to pay money. That is always the answer.
Yeah, I had somebody one time contact me, and it was like foreign. The accent was a foreign accent. And they were talking about the IRS.
I thought you were going to say South Clark County. I was going to say, well, I recognize that accent too.
No, but like literally they were saying, oh, you owe money to the IRS and blah, blah. And I said, the IRS is not going to, they're not going to call me over there, because I'd already heard about it. Right. And of course, he drug it on out. And then, of course, he just was really rude about it. I finally ended up just hanging up the phone. But
they get better with this, don't they? Each time of getting more information that makes it sounds like it could be coming from that office.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Over time, they figure things out too, and it's always morphing. So we got to be real careful. Just don't talk to these people. In this particular case, they've one-upped me, because while I say, don't talk to them, they may be leaving you a voicemail, or you see this number on your phone, and so you call it back thinking it's a local number and a missed call. And that's when you call, and then you get this answer in this phone tree that says, hey, the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department. So it kind of throws you off, and you go, well, I don't know what this is about. And you push one of the numbers to get a hold of somebody, and they ask you your name, look up your phone number, however they're doing it, and they say, hey, you missed jury duty, and you owe this fine, and man, we need to get this taken care of. And of course, people, I'm not going to do that. I didn't miss. Well, yeah, you did. We sent it to your address. Well, they've got your address.
Now, what is the likelihood that if you were to give that credit card information or your bank account, that you could stop them once they get it? There's no way to really retrieve your money, is it?
No. Yesterday's, typically they don't do the credit card thing as much. We don't see that as much today, as they'll have them go get the prepaid cards, like the Green Dot cards. Because once you give that information, give that card number to them and that PIN, they are literally taking it out of that account immediately.
You know, you may know more about it than me, to where they will call like a grandparent, and they've done enough research on someone to where they know the kid's name, the grandchild's name, and use it.
We had this happen the other day I was telling you about. Yeah. Go ahead.
No,
but,
go.
Well, I mean, we had a lady come in the shop, one of our customers come in the shop and said that her grandmother had been scammed by somebody. They had called her and acted like they were law enforcement, said that they had arrested her grandson. He'd had an accident and all this, and even put the boy on the phone, and he was crying and upset. And
she couldn't quite understand that. That actually happened here in Lauderdale County. It was about $5,000 the lady sent to them. It was the same type of deal. That typically they will call, and you'll have a muffled voice, grandma, and then somebody else comes on. Mm-hmm. This is Officer so-and-so. Your grandson's calling you because, he's been on the one that happened here. I don't know if you're aware or not, but he and some of his friends came down to Jamaica. They've rented a car. They've been caught with marijuana in the car. He says it's not his, but in our country, he's guilty because he's in the car. Now, there is a way to do this civilly instead of criminally, where he won't go to prison. He could pay a fine and we'll throw him out of the country today, but you have to do this right now. And she fell for it.
Now, would you think in between it will lighten up after Christmas, or do you think this will stay hard and heavy?
It stays all the time. It's nonstop. I mean, it's just every day. It's not just a Christmas thing. And we have to keep hammering the message of prevention and making sure people don't talk to these people. If they call you, don't engage with them because they're good. There are a lot of people say, oh, well, I talk to them and I do this and I do that, and that encourages other people to talk to them. I'd rather just don't talk to them. First of all, we all got a life.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Okay, the hourglass has got so many grains of sand in it. Why spend your time and energy fooling with these people, trying to be nice this morning, and just move on, hang up, and go on. Don't engage with them.
It's really scary how much information somebody can gather on you. This happened to my sister-in-law in Georgia a couple of years back. They called her and said there was a warrant out for her arrest for something, and she called my husband all in a tizzy, about it, and was upset. But it's like she said, they knew personal information. They knew all my stuff. You can Google people and find stuff.
You get a lot of information. And think about websites that do like Ancestry.com.
Oh yeah,
that's how you find out links to people.
Yeah. You can do background checks on somebody and find out just all kind of personal information. It's really scary how available that is, and that criminals will use that. But I will say this. I had a client one time to tell me, we were talking about phone numbers, and she said, if you ever have a question about it, now you might have a different answer, but she gave me a site to go to. It's called US Phone Book. Have you ever heard of that?
I haven't.
It's U.S. phone book. You can go in, like if you have a number that calls you and you don't know the person, it doesn't give you a caller ID on it or anything. You can punch that number in, and it'll tell you if it's a legitimate number or not. Like if it's not a legitimate, it'll say we did not find this number. This could be a spam, call. But it'll tell you the name it'll tell you a roundabout name. It'll give you the first letter and like the last letter of the name. It doesn't give you the whole name, but at least it's a person, and it could be somebody that you might know. But that kind of helps a little bit. But it will tell you if it's a scam call.
But a lot of times they'll contact people who don't even know how to use a computer or use and. Right. You're at that loss there at that moment. You're going, gosh.
Yeah, a lot of seniors,
Yes.
They get, and a lot of times I think they engage on the telephone calls because they don't have a lot of contact sometimes with people, and so they get in a conversation, and it's really very frustrating that is a segment of our population they really do target. But what we saw yesterday, they're just calling numbers. It's just and sometimes people say, "Well, how'd they get my number?" Well, I could get your number by accident. I mean, even a blind one finds an acorn every now and then because they just start dialing. And we have the same thing out of our jail. We have a phone system there, and inmates have access to make outgoing calls. And periodically, we'll have one of those inmates. He does that. He'll get on there and just start calling numbers. And he'll have somebody go back and look up his teacher from the 3rd grade. We've had this just crazy stuff. Get a phone number, and they're calling, Now, the systems at the jail and at the prisons, you have to accept a phone call, so you cannot accept the phone call.
It does say where this is from.
Exactly. An inmate at the Lauderdale County Detention Facility is attempting to contact you. So you can always say, I'm not going to accept it. It doesn't cost you anything. But if you accept it, it's going to cost. And so, and then they'll be, hey, remember me? And look, I'm down here. I made some bad mistakes, but man, I found the Lord as soon as I got in the back door, and I'm good now, and I'm going to do better. And it's tough in here, but could you maybe put some money in my commissary? Just $10. I'd appreciate it.
Need some toothpaste.
Yeah, right. They won't feed me. I'm starving. Most of them gain weight down there. I don't know how they do it. 'Cause I don't
Since they don't get any food, huh?
Yeah, but anyway, that's a whole nother story. Bottom line, phones and technology is a part of our world today. We got to learn to navigate in it, and people just have to be. We can't catch enough bad guys doing this. We're not ever going to be able to. So people have got to make sure they take care of themselves. So spread the word, tell other people, tell your family, talk to them. Make sure folks understand not to give out information, and we're never, IRS, none of us, no government agency is going to call you and tell you to go get a green dot card. That's not going to happen.
Also, and before we go to a break, but another scam out there is that they'll call and say, we've detected a problem with your computer. Your computer needs to be fixed. Just, give us this debit card number and we'll fix it over the phone. Don't do that.
Yeah, because that really gives them everything that you've got then.
Yep.
And that's not good at all.
It's going to be bad if you do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Coming up, we got more all the way with Ward. He's going to tell us some more things here. We'll ask him a few questions also. Right now, we'll go over to Snowden and Company. They've got a lot going on there. If you're looking for a home, they're there. They've got 3 of the best there that was chosen by you as one of the, 3 of the top choice right there by the Meridian Star. And we've got a new agent for you there, Elizabeth. She's come to work at Snowden and Company. If you haven't visited her before, drop in and see her. Let her show you some homes. There's plenty to choose. You can visit them online. It's as simple as going to snowdenrealestate.com or pick up the phone. Easy to do, 453-3937, and browse through all the different homes they've got. It changes daily. There's something new there every time I go. You can take a look and look around. Anywhere from Meridian and Lauderdale County, including Brandon, Flowood, Madison, and I think they're also doing some other adventures. She's going to come in and talk with us. Maybe it's a double wide with land you want. They do that also. Brand new listing there. They're closed on Sunday. They'll do you by an appointment on Saturday. Easy to do. Snowden and Company. See our friends today. Let them show you why so many people choose them. They are here. It's Amanda and her designated seller self, along with certified real estate negotiating expert. See her. She'll help you all she can. The Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville are passing along these great specials. Idaho potatoes, 8-pound bag, $3.99. Mississippi sweet potatoes, 49 cents a pound. Cuties or halos, a 3-pound bag, only $7.99. Piggly Wiggly cranberry sauce, 14-ounce can, 99 cents. Cairo syrup, 16-ounce, 2 for $5. And select T-bone steak family pack, $6.99 a pound.
And we're down home, down the street, Piggly Wiggly.
Sanders Gas, Sanders Air and Heat is your full-service propane supplier since 1946. We take pride in ensuring reliable, friendly service to our customers. We also provide safety tune-ups related to propane, air conditioning, and heating systems, keeping our communities efficient and safe. I'm Chuck Sanders, and yes, we're local.
With it.
And welcome back with Scotty Ray Candace. Our special guest this morning is Ward Calhoun. And let's go down memory lane here. This old girl has a birthday today, and I'm going to see if y'all remember her. I don't think she had much of a personality, but she was on TV every night. Do y'all remember, where is she? Here she goes, right there. Diane Sawyer. Mm-hmm. Y'all remember her?
I guess she'd be 76 today. But yes, I do.
Okay, I'm just making sure that y'all up to date on all this. All right, let's see who else is in there. I did not get into the movie, nor did I ever own the CD. And let me see, Staying Alive. Did you ever have that CD from Saturday Night Fever?
The record.
Yeah. Did you? Oh, you did have the record.
I think we had a record.
All right. This old boy. You remember Robin Gibb? He was part of them.
Right.
I never owned it, but I sure do remember it being at the theater. I was
the Bee Gees.
Bee Gees.
He was part of the Bee Gees, right? Yeah.
There was, it seemed like he had a twin also. I almost want to say that There was another one that had a birthday, and I couldn't find any information on him. This is more where I really I get more into what I know. George Strait released another song on this day, and I forgot to put what it was, so we'll just skip that. This goes. This goes.
It
more,
was good though.
It had to be. It just right over my head of what I was doing yesterday. A confession was made, and he was one of the first serial killers that was put up nationwide. Do y'all remember the guy named John Wayne Gacy? He confessed in 1978 for killings from 72 to 78. Didn't he finally get the death penalty?
I believe so. And I think he the one that dressed up like a clown and went to the hospitals.
That is scary. See, all you online daters, you're going to end up with a John Wayne Gacy. I'm serious. That is scary to me.
A lot of people do
Goodness.
it, though.
Yeah.
This is a short day on things that happened in history because past 1984, I really couldn't find anything. Well, there's one thing. It ain't much went on today. But I do remember this. Ronnie Payne, a guy from DeKalb, had this on the radio when he pulled up, and it was Madonna, Like a Virgin. I'd never heard that before. That was number one on this date. And the last thing that went on this date, Joe Cocker passed away in 2014 at the age of 70. So that kind of summarizes what happened today.
I remember the Madonna days.
That was that Valley Girl
Permed
look.
hair.
Yeah, did you have the big hair?
Yes, I had the big hair.
Yeah.
Permed, big hair. The little, lace gloves that everybody, all that little attire that everybody wore.
Ward, as long as I've known you, I've never. Where did you graduate from?
Meridian High.
You went from Meridian High. It's South Northeast Lauderdale, and you were
West Lauderdale.
Okay, we were all in the same neck of the woods.
Back then though, I don't remember. I didn't have a lot of friends from different high schools. It was just different. I think
Different time.
Technology, you didn't have all the things kids have today, and just didn't play ball against each other.
I think the back then, the most that anybody kind of had to do with other schools was you saw everybody on 8th Street.
True. Yeah.
Everybody would cruise 8th Street back in the day. So
some people talk about how many miles have you done something, whatever, walked or I'd like to know how many miles I've gone up down 8th Street in my life.
But that
all those
be a lot.
low rider trucks everybody had, I don't know how they didn't knock the bottom out of them.
Isn't that a thing of the past? The kids don't even do that in Meridian now, do they?
I don't think so. And they had moved to North Hill Street at one time a little bit, but I don't even think that goes on anymore.
I never noticed it anymore. Boy, when I was, coming up in Scooby, had come to town, and 8th Street was happening between there and out at...
just riding.
Yeah.
You'd be waving it. Everybody would occasionally stop at, McDonald's, I think, or something, and sit around and talk.
Going to Godfather's Pizza and, down there, of course, had to go to Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic.
Somebody had to buy something if you were going to park in the bay, though, so somebody had to find enough change to,
You would think as big as College Park was, that would have been a gathering area, but really, we never really hardly went into College Park.
No, it was more that Sonic thing there where you could barely squeeze by.
Yeah.
Weird. Hey, we got a text in from Patricia Reynolds. She's claiming, now this is a claim, I can't back it up because I don't know her personally. She says her husband's been cranking up her car for 46 years.
That is sweet.
That's a whole heap. We also got some more reports here from other folks. There was a lady on here, and I don't remember her name, said that she cranks her husband's truck. Yeah. Now, she gets the Wife Award of the Year. There's nothing quite like that, wife doing that for the husband.
Look.
There it is right there. Barbara Smith.
Look, we all say, we'll do this for each other. If he's going to get a shower, I'll put him a towel and a bath cloth out. He'll do the same for me. I'm serious. It's a nice gesture, Scotty Ray. Goodness.
Oh, he didn't need to have that told in public. He really
Look,
didn't.
I'm just glad that you introduced me to him. I just can't believe that, he ain't rubbed off on y'all. So
I know. I don't think there's a chance. Me getting a towel for Angie.
Well, it looked like you ain't going to get no gift either for Christmas.
Oh,
you
that's
ain't
okay.
yet.
Boy, y'all truly are newlyweds. That's what you see.
I think it's a great thing. He probably will want to kill me for.
I do that too, though. I do that. I tend to put the bath mat out for her, put the towel. Not every time, but a lot of times.
Isn't that so nice? It's so sweet.
I think it's kind of a nice. I don't do a lot of other nice things, so I try and do what I can.
Look, that is just respectful to me. You don't have to do it. I don't expect it, but when he does stuff like that, I think it's
in the
good.
average household is, hey, where's the towel? You didn't wash them.
What I want to know is what did you do to get her?
Oh, it's the charm. I mean, can't you see it? The radiation coming off of me over here. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Did that just like wear off or what?
I don't know that I ever really had it. You know, as we look around the state of Mississippi, and this is one of those things that is just bad. Ward, you've seen this. A Flowood youth pastor has been arrested for child exploitation. Just awful. Watch where your babies are. You send them there, and that's the last place that you think something like that's going to happen. I mentioned,
in churches, youth leagues, baseball, whatever group it may be, it could be any of them.
Right.
Most organizations today have rules in place to try to help prevent that. No adult with a child by themselves at any point in time, and that's just good common sense.
Yeah.
And
now,
so,
how often do y'all, and I know y'all been involved in stings of taking down people that prey on younger kids? That's an ongoing thing, isn't it?
It is.
That y'all,
yeah, and it's it kind of ebbs and flows. We'll have several cases. Sometimes they kind of all come at one time, and and then you might go months and we don't have anything. There are certainly individuals out there like that and looking for that opportunity, and so you have to make sure you don't give them that opportunity. And so you as a family have to do that, and then organizations, if you're a member of a church or any group of people where you've got young people, make sure you have rules in place and that you go by them, and that helps to prevent those kind of things from happening.
I don't know if either one of you will have an opinion on this of where you think the jury is headed for this, but I think it's day 2 to where jurors in the Kim, is it Potter have not made a decision. They're kind of at a hung place, and they have not decided. I think after watching the video, you realize that she truly didn't mean to do it, and it happened. I don't know what's going to come out of this. They deliberated for 13 hours yesterday and could not make a decision. Of course, they're going back today. Have you ever, in your line of work, seen this happen, or is this a first time?
No, it's happened before. Matter of fact, I haven't watched I've read news stories, some of the articles, and one of them had a listing of other cases where this same type of situation has happened. And it caused me to go back and say, yeah, I remember reading about that one. I remember reading about probably the most famous one was out, and I want to say it was in San Francisco or L.A. On the train station where the same kind of situation happened. Officer pulled his duty weapon as opposed to a taser, and law enforcement, we are held to high standards, and we should be. But bottom line, there's still people wearing these uniforms who are not going to be perfect, who are going to make mistakes because they're people. Mm-hmm. And, you can train, and still have things happen. What isn't thought about is what would happen if we didn't do the level of training that we do.
Oh,
how much else could happen? Because you can... the sheriff's got a little saying that's really pretty good and true. He says, the military trains all the time for something, and some of them will be in a whole career and never go to war, never do all this training and never get to use it. Mm-hmm. We, on the other hand, are in the battle every single day and very rarely to have enough time to do the training because you don't have enough personnel. Because every time somebody's off training, somebody else has either got to work or there's a hole there.
You got to fill in for them.
Yeah, you got 5 deputies on a shift, and one of them's gone for a week. You just cut your resources by 20%.
On this,
so you have to. It's tough to do all the training that we would like to do.
In this particular case, what was going on with the guy?
The traffic stopped and they asked him to get out.
Yeah, I knew that. But did he do something like to provoke?
He jumped back in the car and was attempting to drive off.
Okay.
Part of the her defense attorney's arguments were the fact that, that she had an obligation to effect the arrest, and that she could have used deadly force, or that they were making this argument based on the fact that another officer was halfway in the car, trying to grab a hold of him, and he could have driven off with the guy, halfway hanging out the car, which could have resulted in his injury or death.
What if he'd have grabbed a gun? Or how did she know that he wasn't going for one? I mean,
Right.
it's just so many different things
variations that could happen.
that could have happened. And I guess you just have to be prepared, for anything to happen. I can't imagine what y'all go through on a daily basis. I just can't. In a situation like that where you have to make a quick decision. And like I said, she didn't know if he was grabbing for a gun or what.
Fortunately, the Supreme Court has recognized in a court case, and right this second, I can't remember the name of it.
It's tough to remember all that.
But anyway, that officers make decisions in tense circumstances, and they are looking at what would a reasonable officer do based on what that officer knows in that moment in time, basically. Everybody gets to spend months and years afterwards, going back and looking over what someone has done.
Right.
That officer's making a decision in that split second.
Almost reminds you of that moment in that movie Sully, to where they were reenacting his plane, and he
Right,
goes,
yeah.
"No, that's not realistic."
Exactly. And so, that's why training is very important. And it's important to have policies and procedures, and it's important to do training, and it's important to have the right people in those jobs. Not everybody can be a law enforcement officer. Not everybody can be a lot of things. But make sure you have the best qualified, that you train them, and that they have the resources they need to do the job. And even then, you're still going to have errors, and things are still not going to be perfect. But you're trying your absolute best to do that. And so it's unfortunate when these kind of situations occur. And she's, the jury will make a decision, or they won't. There may be a hung jury, and then prosecutor have to make a decision about whether or not to retry her. And I would say they probably will. If they've gone this far one time, they will attempt to do that again. It's not a good situation.
Across America, we see so many times to where average Joe Samaritans stand by and they watch. We saw the 2 security guards in New York watch a lady get beat up, mugged. They just stood there at the door and watched. But not so in Ohio. I don't know if y'all have seen this story here. A young man was at the Kroger, went to buy his mama some groceries.
That was great. That was great.
And here it
There
is.
he is. That was great.
He tackles the guy and gets the lady's purse back. And he's being given an award by the sheriff's department there for doing the right thing. And we don't see enough of that, do we? He was able to stop without harm, without putting yourself in danger.
So if somebody snatched my purse, that's what I'd be.
I always think of that. The Nick Nundee where you pick up the can of soup and...
I always hear, if somebody tries to grab your purse, just let it go. Just let it go. I just don't know if I would. I don't know.
Well,
I would hope I would.
Yeah,
Goodness.
I've said it many times in community groups and speaking to folks when asked the question, especially with seniors, I tell them, don't fight over that purse. It's just not worth it, and in many cases, that's the case. Somebody's got a gun, they want your purse, give them the purse. If they've gotten the drop on you, and it's not worth the potential for getting shot over a purse. It's just not. But on the other hand, I like what the guy at the Kroger's did. He saw opportunity and he felt like he could do that, and he did it. And we need citizens to, when appropriate, when they can, be good witnesses, make the phone call. Maybe you're not the one that can chase somebody else, but you can get a picture with a video on your phone, or you can be the one making sure you dial 911. Those are also very helpful. When we are trying to catch bad guys, we need that information, those eyes and ears out there in the community.
We're going to have to put up a diagram one morning when you come out and show, all right, this is and just take a snapshot of somebody and throw up here and go, all right, look for this. These are distinguishing marks on this that would help us find him later.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody can look at the same thing and describe it different.
Right.
Exactly.
That does happen. Let's take a minute and head out to, Chet's Paint and Body. Chet's there for you when you meet up with that deer late at night. Sometimes they even like to crawl around early in the morning on top of your hood. 737-2961 is the number to call. They'll take care of you. Get this processed in no time flat and get you back into your car. It's almost like having your house taken away from you because you need your car.
Right, you do. But if you have to get a rental car, they'll work with the rental car company. So.
737-2961. This is one that's had some side damage there. You get the door damage where you do it to yourself. most likely this is one of those where you left the door open, backed up, and, well, it was slammed up against the fender. Happens. Everybody's done things like this, including backed into your own vehicle. Maybe your spouse has done that. Instead of a towel, they backed into your car.
Some people don't like to put the buggies back where they go at the store.
That happens.
Slam them into your car.
See them, aluminum beds, whether it's front end work, whatever the case may be, a great paint booth to put it back to make it match the way it used to. See them, it's Chet's Paint and Body. They'll do anything they can for you. See them today, let them take care of you. They'll do it all. Greg's Fireworks in the Clarkdale community is celebrating 25 years of business. Open daily through January the 2nd. With the lowest prices around and the largest selection you can find. It's heated and air conditioned. From 500-gram cakes to novelty items like sparklers for kids, gender reveals, and wedding sparklers. And don't forget your bottle rockets. Find all of your fireworks at Greg's Fireworks, 5169 Highway 145, in the Clarkdale community, celebrating 25 years of business. The Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville are passing along these great specials. Idaho potatoes, 8-pound bag, $3.99. Mississippi sweet potatoes, 49 cents a pound. Cuties or halos, a 3-pound bag, only $7.99. Piggly Wiggly cranberry sauce, 14-ounce can, 99 cents. Cairo syrup, 16-ounce, 2 for $5. And select T-bone steak family pack, $6.99 a pound.
And we're down home, down the street, Piggly Wiggly.
And welcome back with Scotty Ray and Candace, and our special guest. Glad to have him in the studio with us today is Ward Calhoun. Now, we saw a message from y'all a couple days ago that said, hey, we're going to be out in force over the holidays. Tell us more about this.
We, along with thousands of other agencies all across this country, participate in the Drive Sober, Get Pulled Over campaign, which started on the 17th and will go through January 1st. And it's an emphasis to make sure that the public remembers that during the holidays, don't be impaired and operate a motor vehicle. And we announced that we would be having sobriety checkpoints on certain days, at certain times, at a certain location. Those are listed on our Facebook page, so that we will be doing an actual sobriety checkpoint there, where the focus of that checkpoint will be to detect impaired drivers. However, we will also have unannounced roadside safety checkpoints in various locations during this same time period, where the focus there is is about equipment violations. We may also detect impaired drivers at those. This past weekend, we had 9 individuals operating on roadways in our community to get a DUI. Now, none of those were at a checkpoint. All of those were just from working standard traffic stops. But we typically get people at checkpoints, roadside safety checkpoints, as well as sobriety checkpoints. Bottom line, wear your seatbelt, don't be impaired and operate a motor vehicle, have a designated driver, have a plan before you go out to a party or to some family event in order not find yourself in a situation that won't be good.
Well, this is a headline here. As you were saying that, let me just throw this up on the screen. This is from Daily Mail. Christmas presents are wrapped under the tree. 3 children are killed and their mom is seriously injured after DUI, going the wrong way on the interstate. And we don't want that to happen here. That's why y'all are out there.
You know, it is not about just enforcement. It would be great if we had a blitz period and didn't write a single DUI. I would love it. It'd be wonderful. But the reality is there are those individuals out there who, quite honestly, are just selfish. They're going to do whatever they want to do. They don't really regard the safety of everyone else. It's about what they want to do.
Now, we got a couple of minutes left here. What is one of the first signs that you see if you're driving down the road and you notice a car weave? What are some signs that people can go, maybe I need to call the sheriff's department?
Typically, that's what we get calls about. You know, these cars, we're seeing them going on and off the road. Of course, in today's world, they may very well be watching a TV show on their phone or playing a game or something or answering a Facebook post. Who knows? Distracted driving comes in a lot of different ways. With the impaired driver, it's very similar. Quite often you see those kind of things. Also, you see things at night like don't dim their headlights. They come to a stop in the middle of an intersection because they've misjudged where to stop. not staying in their lane of travel. Those are all types of things like that you'll see.
So thank you for coming in. We appreciate it. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to y'all and to
Yes,
everybody out there.
We appreciate everything y'all do.
Thank you. We
Just
got
wanna tell you
great
that.
folks, and we're glad to serve you.
Yes.
Scotty Ray's Weather is brought to you by